remind you, those who have their mobile phones with them, can you please make sure that you're turned off or on silent? Just commit all this while and obviously we expect more people will come, inshallah. So just turn your phones off, any last minute messages, make sure it's done and focus your mind to this moment here. Because when we go back, then we can think about what's just done. So today is now listen, learn, and then inshallah we'll have the opportunity to do Zikr as well, which opportunity for us to connect with Allah and inshallah will remind you about the adab as well. So before we begin the discourse, I would like to invite the Hassan to come on and do Qiraat and then Naat for us. Inshallah, may Allah SWT reward you in this world and the hereafter for your time and effort.
أعوذ تعرج الملائكة والروح إليه في يوم كان مقداره 50,000 سنة فاصبر صبرا جميلا إنهم يرونه بعيدا ونراه قريبا يوم تكون السماء كالمحن وتكون الجبال كالإحن ولا يسأل حميم حميما يبصرونهم يود المجرم لو يفتدي يومئذ ببنيه وصاحبته وأخيه وفصيلته التي تؤويه وما في الأرض جميعا ثم ينجيه كلا إن لظى نزعة للشوى تدعو من أدبر وتولى وجمع فأوعى إلا المصلين صدق الله العظيم. In a time of darkness and greed, it is your light that we need. You came to teach us how to live. Muhammad, Ya Rasulallah, you are so caring and kind. Your soul was full of light. You are the best of mankind. Muhammad, خير خلق الله. صلوا على رسول الله حبيب المصطفى. Peace be upon the messenger, the chosen one. From luxury you turned away, and all night you would pray, truthful in every word you say. Muhammad, Ya Rasulallah, your face was brighter than the sun, your beauty equal by none. You are Allah's chosen one. Muhammad, خير خلق الله. صلوا messenger, the chosen one. صلوا على رسول الله. Peace be upon the chosen one.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال كم لبثتم في الأرض عدد سنين قالوا لبثنا يوما بعد يوم فصل العادين آمنت بالله صدق الله العظيم اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Before I begin, if I begin coughing, please excuse me in advance. So today is going to be fun for me to get through this without coughing. Now, like our dear brother Ustadh Etisham said, the value of time, and today obviously marks the end of a solar year. The passing of 365 days has passed, and obviously this is not our new year. We've had our new year, the Islamic New Year. So I'm not going to talk about this new year or next year because it's not our new year. You see, the Muslims, even though we have our Islamic New Year, we think bigger than year to year or month to month, week to week, day to day. We think about the whole life of me and you. You see, our Messenger ﷺ said that the average lifespan for his ummah is between 60 and 70. You know, some countries have high lifespans, some have lower. But if you average out the lifespan of the average human around the world, it's 70 years old. And we know that the life of a human can be divided into 5 general categories, 5 general phases. You have infancy, you have childhood, you have your youthful age, maturity, and old age. Infancy is obviously when you're a baby or such. Childhood, you're growing up. Perhaps you go to primary school. Youthful age, you go to the likes of high school. Maturity, you get married, you begin working, etc. And old age, you retire and settle down as such. So in general, we could say the lifespan of a human, it can be divided into 5 categories as such. Now, let's think bigger than this life even. Let's think about the journey of man. Now, you obviously have the period of non-existence, excluding that because we weren't even there at the time. Let's think of the other 5 phases. You have Alim Arwah, the world of spirits. You have here, the time on earth. You have your Barzakh, the grave, the Yawm al-Qiyamah, day of judgment, and the eternal abode, be it heaven or hell. So here you can see you have 5 phases as well. We have 5 phases in this life and 5 phases overall, from the beginning to the end of all mankind. You see, the Mashaykh, the awliya, the people of wisdom, they have equated these 5 to these 5 in that they said, okay, we are here on earth 70 years. For argument's sake, some live longer, like I said, some live shorter. So we have this short period of time here on earth to do a job. You and me, we're all here sent to do a job. We weren't sent here just to play games and have fun. No, we're here for a purpose. And we're here for a very, very short period of time. But what happens is, people like me, sometimes we forget why we're here and we get lost in dunya, in the rat race, so to speak. Well, this is like, if you equate the second phase, I said after Alam al-Wa is here on earth, this is the second phase. Well, what's the second phase for humans here on earth? It's the phase of not like a baby, when you're a child. So it's stupid. It's become so obsessed with this world, chasing money, fame, name, fortune, all these things. This is a very childish attitude, a very childish approach, very childish mentality to have. No, think of the bigger picture. Now, yes, we know the average age is 70 years. However, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, people will be asked afterwards, how long were you here on the face of the earth? And they will say a day or part of a day. This is, relatively speaking, this is how it will seem. When we're in our graves, for Allah ta'ala knows how long for, you compare that to this short period of time, it's nothing. There are people who've been in the graves for thousands of years, and they're still there now. So we can understand this understanding of relativity, of how long we are here for and how much we have to work on. Because me and you, everybody watching online, the brothers and the sisters here, we have never been closer to our grave than we are right here, right now. We have never been closer to the grave, and that's a fact. All humans out there on here, this is true. We are never going to be young as we are right here, right now. Fact. You see, the people of wisdom, the people of reflection say that, okay, you have 70 years. Okay, let's go back a few ummas. Let's go back a few thousands of years. You see, people back then used to live for 700 years. Now, we're 700 years and we're 70 years. We are 1/10 of their lifespan. Now, let's go further. The people of wisdom, the Mashaykh, say that, okay, you have 70 years. If you cut away all the time spent eating, all the time spent working, going to the lavatory, fulfilling your needs, etc., you're only left with 7 years. 7. That's nothing. Relatively speaking, 7 years is nothing. And this is for someone who's very young. People like me and you, maybe we have 2-3 years left. Allah Ta'ala knows best. The fact is we have 7 years to get this job done, and we have one chance only. Me and you, we cannot afford to mess this opportunity up. Because these 7 years we're going to spend will determine the rest of our life, whether in the grave, the day of judgment, or in the eternal abode. And even people of wisdom, the non-Muslims of the past say that, Marcus Aurelius used to say that, what we do in this life echoes in eternity. And it's true. We live a pious and a life of obedience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will live beautifully and peacefully and in complete bliss and serene. You see, sometimes people like me, and maybe some of you, which I highly doubt because you brothers and sisters, mashallah, you're switched on, you're quite used to being in a state of obedience and being in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, a lot of humans like me, we sometimes forget, what does it mean to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What does it really mean? Yes, there are many benefits, there are many blessings in this life and the next, but one thing we can perhaps think about is the fact that you are praying to your Lord, the fact that you are fulfilling your purpose of being born, the fact that you are doing all these things, whether it's Isha Jamaat we just prayed, you're doing your Zikr, Talawat, etc., Tasbih and all these things, we are the ones being honoured. We are the ones that benefit. We are the beneficiaries of all these other acts of worship, whether it be the Hajj, Umrah, anything. We are the ones being honoured. We don't benefit him one bit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't get honoured from us. He's honouring us. We're the beneficiaries. You think about it, in the prayer, what do? You put your head to the ground, you're lowering your face onto the dirt or the ground, you're lowering your intellect, which is the greatest thing people think we have. You're lowering that, you're submitting yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The King of Kings invites you to his house. Who is the one who's been honoured? It's us. If the Queen was to invite you and me to Buckingham Palace tomorrow, who would be honoured? Obviously us. They're already royalty. But the masjid, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is better than any palace in the world, of any king or queen. When His Majesty invites you to pray in his house, come to his gatherings, and remember him, who's the one being honoured? It's you and me. Everything in the Sharia about what to do, what not to do, is there to benefit you and me. If the Sharia says to do something, it's honouring me and you. If it says not to do something, it's to stop me and you becoming dishonoured. When we say we don't drink alcohol, we don't commit fornication, we don't do drugs, etc., who's the one benefiting? The Sharia doesn't benefit, it's we. When we see this, people turn to alcohol, they can't control themselves, they go home and abuse their loved ones, their families, physically or verbally, be it. They dishonour their families, they dishonour themselves. Somebody turns to drugs, becomes a drug addict. What happens? They're dishonouring themselves. But we say, no, the Sharia is there because it benefits me and you. It shows us how to honour ourselves and honour other people as well. You see, one of the people, one of the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a very righteous and pious person, Hazrat Abu Dawud at-Tail, he understood the value of these 7 years very well. He understood 7 years is not a great deal of time by any means. You see, what they used to do was, when they would eat, let's say me and you probably had dinner before we came here, or maybe eat afterwards, whenever we eat, We eat what we want to, alhamdulillah. Allah Ta'ala has given us the tawfiq and the ability to eat something nice, something with flavour, herbs and spices and these things. You see, but what they did was when they ate food, they used to get food and make it wet, make it damp and soft. Okay? So they would get their food, no matter what it was, make it soft. Like, children do maybe with their cereal, it's nice and soft. And they would always eat this. They would eat this. And people couldn't understand, why don't you try something different? Why don't you try some food that actually you can cherish the taste and savour the flavours, the spices, the herbs? He said, I could do this. However, in the time taken to chew the food in the dry state, I could spend those seconds, that time, doing tasbih on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Saying subhanallah, doing any form of zikr on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, he understood the value of those seconds. Because seconds become minutes, minutes become hours, hours become, obviously from there, you know what. But the point is, even those valuable seconds, he wanted to shave off and use those seconds in chewing food, and he would rather use those seconds in worship on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look at the rank he achieved, look at the maqam he had, look how he was honoured. He understood the value of time very well. Somebody else who knew the value of time and how limited it was Hazrat Imam Hassan al-Basri, rahmatullah alayh. For those who don't know perhaps about them, they were honoured with the title of Khairul Tabi'een. You see, they were amongst one of the generations called the Tabi'een after the companions. And they were honoured with this title for many reasons. In fact, only one which I'll touch upon today. You see, at the time of Sayyidina Ali, Qadamallahu wajhahu, they went to Basra to see what the states of affairs were for the Muslims. And at the time, there were many muftis and imams and public speakers talking about Islam. However, what they were doing was, and you've probably seen this today, I've experienced this myself, unfortunately, I won't name where, however. You have people speaking, and in the middle of speaking, they start singing, I don't know what they're singing, but they're singing something, and they go off track, entertaining the crowd. And they do this for ulterior motives. They do this maybe to stroke people's egos, to generate an income. Allah Ta'ala knows best. However, you see, this was so widespread during this particular generation. Sayyidina Ali, they actually banned everybody, all these muftis, all these imams, all these scholars who were doing this at the time. He banned every single one of them, all except one. The only person he gave ijazah, the only person he gave permission to speak publicly was Hazrat Imam Hassan al-Basri, rahimahullah. You see, what he noticed was that all the people are doing what they're doing for ulterior motives. However, when he saw Hazrat Imam Hassan al-Basri, he asked him, what do you talk about with the people in public? What do you discuss? What is the discourse? What's the nasiha you're giving? He said, well, I speak about the akhirah, I speak about the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I speak about the love of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, are you a scholar? He said, no. He said, are you a student of the deen? Are you talib al-ilm? He said, no. He said, I just narrate what my teachers and the mashayikh taught me. That's it. You see, Hazrat Imam Hassan al-Basri, they did not deviate from the teaching of the mashayikh and from the sunnah. They just did what they were taught from their teachers. They stuck to the sunnah. Whereas all the other people at the time in that locality, they went off track, doing their own thing, following their own desires, trying to please the people with stories and songs. Like our blessed teacher said, are these people singing songs, or are they giving nasiha? Are they giving advice or entertaining the crowd with their songs? And look at the title they were blessed with. Look at the honor they were given. Khairul Tabi'een, the best of the Tabi'een. So something we can learn just from them. I'll give you another example. They used to live amongst non-Muslims. And we think we're the first generation or second generation to live among non-Muslims. No. This has happened historically. You see, their neighbour was a non-Muslim. And one day, or there was a period of time, they fell ill. And the neighbour realised they hadn't seen him for a while. So they went over to investigate. So they entered the house of this blessed, pious person, the Khairul Tabi'een, and they asked, when they walked in, they asked, what's that smell? It smells funny in here. So the blessed Imam, they said, oh, I'm ill. So, when someone is ill, they don't have the opportunity to look after themselves, perhaps. So he said, I'm ill. He said, no. This smell it smells like sewage. You have the smell of feces in your urine. He said, no, this is that kind of smell. This is not right. He said, no, don't worry about it. So the neighbour, he wasn't content with the answer. He said, no, there's something wrong. Why does it smell like this in your house? And he said, listen, you're a pious person, you're a godly person. Tell me what's wrong, so I may help you. He said, now listen to the response from this blessed person. They said that, I didn't want to tell you, but because you insist. You see, there's one of your drainage pipes from your house, it's leaking slightly, and it's coming into my property. And this is where the smell is coming from, the sewerage from the toilet. It's leaking. But I didn't tell you this because I did not want to disturb your heart. I didn't want to upset you. Just upon hearing this non-Muslim did Shahada there and then. He was so moved by this person's state of dealing and how he spoke to him, he became Muslim there and then. And this is one of the reasons, amongst many, why he's Khairul Tabi'in. So he stayed quiet for years with that nasty smell. And then we have to ask ourselves, how tolerant are we to our neighbours, to people who live within our locality? How are we treating them? You see, Sayyidina Ali, Qadamallahu wajhahu, they once said that, it's one of the sayings, it's separate, but they had a saying that silence that covers you with honour is better than speech that covers you with regret. And these are the real words of the wise. They said this about just sometimes holding your tongue, just staying quiet, is sometimes more honourable than just blurting out anything that comes to mind. You see, you look at the country with the highest population of Muslims around the world today is Indonesia. This is a geographical fact. They have the highest population of Muslims in any Muslim country. But this wasn't always the case. This was an island far away from the Middle East. You see, what's happened was, the truth is that a few people went over there and Islam spread. Perhaps not how you're thinking how Islam spread. You see, now you have 90% Muslim there, 10% non-Muslim. And unfortunately, the reality of now is more people are leaving Islam, unfortunately. But what you see, what's happened was back then, a few people went over and Islam spread from those few people and the majority of the country became Muslim. Now listen to the wisdom. You see, the people that went over, they weren't just any common people, no. They were students of a very righteous, pious person called Hazrat Bauddin Zakaria, rahmatullah alayh. You see, he sent them over not as missionaries as such, to spread Islam, in that sense. You see, they were a person of wisdom, they were a person of hikmah and deep insight. So they knew if you go to a foreign land, especially an island that has never been exposed to Islam as such, if you go over there to a country and you say, I'm Muslim, Islam is this, we believe in these, I want to talk to you, I want to convert you to our faith, they're not going to listen. They'll reject you and probably even kill you. This has happened historically around the world with other religions. You see, he sent over certain students, but he sent them over in the disguise of traders, businessmen. He instructed his students that when you go over there, do not even talk about Islam. Don't talk about Islam until you have conducted business with the people you have won their hearts and minds over. And that took as long as it took. He said, don't talk about Islam, forget that. No, go over there, win their hearts and minds. Then talk about Islam. And look at the country now, the highest population of Muslims in the world. All from those students of a friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a righteous and pious person, somebody who took this deen seriously. This is historical fact. You see, what they were doing, Hazrat Bauddin Zakaria rahmatullah alayhi, they were actually following the sunnah, believe it or not. You see, even before the beloved Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even before the pivotal 40 years of age, they were already known as Amin and Sadiq. This is truth. This is what they were known as. The trustworthy person and the honest person. They already had reputation. They were already honored with this. So when the time came to reveal the message of Islam, it was that much easier to understand and believe, yes, they are the messenger of God. Yes, they are here to spread the truth and to bring people towards goodness. I'll give you an example. For those that have been to the Holy Lands, the Khana Kaaba, you have the black stone, Hajar al-Aswad, you see, and this story maybe you know, but this is a good reminder for me and you, that the origin of how that stone became to where it is now is there were the various tribes, the clans of that particular time and that locality. They were all trying to decide, this is the stone, which tribe would have the honor of placing the stone to where it is now. So they couldn't come with a final conclusion. They couldn't come up with a final answer. So they said, okay, the next person to walk through into the area where the Kaaba is, the next person to walk in there, we're going to let him decide. So a diplomatic answer. Okay, if you can't decide within yourself, the next person to walk in, it could be anyone. Let's just give that person the honor and the responsibility of doing this. Now, it happened to just be the Messenger ﷺ who just happened to walk in. They blessed them all with his presence. So they presented the situation to them. They said, we have this stone. We cannot decide who or which tribe will be honored to place the stone where it is. Now, let's think about the following diplomatic answer. Let's think about the wisdom, what they came out with. You see, they took off their blessed Jad al-Mubarak. They took it off. They laid it down on the floor, and the stone was placed on top. They then instructed that every representative of every single tribe will hold a corner of the cloth or a piece of the cloth, and together it will be lifted. And then when it was lifted, they put it into position. Now think of the wisdom behind this. All the tribes members that were there at the time, they listened to the words of the Messenger ﷺ. They listened to their advice. They accepted it. In return, he honored all of them, with all partaking in these historical events of placing the black stone. They were all remembered, they were all honored. So for people like me and you, we can understand that if we just listen and do what the Messenger ﷺ says, we are the ones that are honored. And honor is one of those things that many, if not every ancient civilization, they cherish this. It's a universal value. Be it the Native American Indians or the ancient Japanese, honor is a very high quality for anybody to have and anybody to give. In North America, well, what we know of North America now, the Native American Indians, I don't know whether you've studied their history, but you have the various tribes. You have various different tribes across the whole land, and sometimes what they would do is, before going out to battle into war, they would wear their clothing, they would wear the headpiece with the tail feathers, etc. However, if the weather was too bad or too dusty or too wet, they would not go out to war. They would delay it for the next day. Why? They had such honor. They did not want to dirty the tail feathers in their headpiece. They didn't want to do this. This is how much they honored their decorum, their rituals, traditions. You look at the ancient Japanese. Anybody who knows anything about the ancient Japanese, honor is the highest thing for them. And they're not Muslim, they don't know. But however, they have this tradition which they don't do anymore. I think it's outlawed. It's called seppuku. Seppuku is when the Japanese armies would go out, the samurai would go out, they would clash. One would win, one would lose, obviously. Seppuku was considered an act of honor. But when I tell you what it involves, you're probably thinking it's not really honorable, it's kind of grotesque. You see, seppuku is, when the samurai that's lost, it was so shameful to be defeated, they believed that the only way to restore honor is to perform this ritual called seppuku. Now, what they do is, let's say you have 10 samurai, for example, they would kneel down, like on our knees, we would call the shud position. They would kneel down and they would get their sword, they would open up their gown as such, and next to them would be a samurai of the opposite army, or the opposite tribe or clan. And he would be stood there with his sword, waiting. And they would all kneel down as if it's an horrible thing. So what they would do is, on this signal, they would all do it together. The person kneeling down would get to his sword, and they would slice open their torso. At the same time, this samurai stood up from the opposite tribe, he would behead them. And this was considered honourable amongst the ancient Japanese. Now, these people, obviously, they're not Muslim. They don't understand that honour comes in different ways. However, the source of honour is Al-Aziz. You see, the 8th name of the 99 known names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Aziz. He is the honourable. He honours us. How does He honour me and you? He has given us the Sharia to follow. He has given us the Sunnah to follow and the Quran to follow. If we just stick to these, me and you can be honoured. We don't have to cut open our torsos. No, this is not our belief. This is theirs. If we just turn to Him and do as He says and give preference to His command, He will honour us in this life and for eternity, inshallah. You see, we understand, unlike the non-Muslims, we understand what a sin really is. Some people have this misconception, some of the other religions say no names, about a sin is something just prohibited. Well, things aren't prohibited just for the sake of it. There's a purpose behind. You see, our blessed teacher has taught us what is a sin. In layman's terms, a sin is something that harms you. Be it drugs, harmful, be it alcohol, harms you. Be it fornication or adultery, is harmful to the individual, to the family, to society. It's something harmful. But our blessed teacher has narrated the hadith, and I'm going to paraphrase. You see, they said that once the Prophet ﷺ, they were in a gathering and the companions were nearby, and they noticed that spontaneously, suddenly they began to just smile. And nothing was said, they just began to smile. And they pondered and they asked, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why are you smiling? What made you so happy? What can we do that just made you smile? And they said, again I'm paraphrasing, they said that, no, it's nothing to do with you. It's, I just saw on the Day of Judgment the people smiling. On the Day of Judgment, on the Day of Reckoning, on the day of people will be anxious, they'll be stressed, they'll be scared, they'll be wanting to jump into the hellfire out of the fear. There will be a group of people who will be smiling, and they saw this. And so the companions asked, were these people, these righteous people? They said, no. Were they pious and did a lot of worship? We said, no. They said that these are people who were actually sinners. They used to sin a lot. And the companions couldn't understand. I thought the Day of Judgment was a horrible day. It's a day of torment, a day of account, a day of reckoning. And they couldn't understand this. So they went further to explain. You see, on the Day of Judgment, there will be a group of people who will be smiling. There will be these sinners who didn't worship much. They committed a lot of sin. And the people they sin with will also be there, but they will be in a state of dreadful fear. The people who are in a state of fear on that day, they will say to the people smiling, we used to commit sin with you. We used to do all these bad, evil things with you. How are you smiling? They said, yes, we did a lot of sin. We did so many evil things. But we also did tawbah. We did astaghfar. We asked for forgiveness. Now you just think about this. I'm talking about some big sinners, some big people who do some big bad things. You're talking fornicators, drug dealers perhaps. I don't know. Allah Ta'ala knows best. The point is, you can have a group of sinners, and yet Al-Aziz, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will still honor them on the last day, all because they did tawbah. On the last day, they will still be honored because they obeyed Him, not perhaps in the worship. No, they obeyed Him when He said, if you ask for forgiveness, I will forgive you. So the sinner should never ever lose hope. You see, like I said, we have 7 years maximum, 7 years, for argument's sake, to get this job done that we all be given. And in fact, I was at a janazah today earlier on. My friend's mother passed away, and she was of good age. So she's had her 7 years. May Allah have mercy on her. She's had her 7 years. And you can't help but reflect when you're at the janazah in the graveyard, where am I going in my life? What am I doing? Am I really trying my best? Or can I do more? So it really got me thinking today. You see, I don't have much time left. I'm sure nobody here or watching online, the sisters and the brothers, we don't have much time left. However, thanks to our blessed teacher, they have given us a shortcut of how to achieve the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, to have the closeness to Allah Azza wa Jal is an honor. It's an honor to achieve his closeness. It's an honor to achieve his mercy. It's an honor to achieve his friendship, wilayat. These are all honors for me and you. So they taught us that, okay, we don't have much time left. What's the shortcut to achieving all of these three honors? They narrated a hadith against the nervous effect that after me and you are fulfilling all the faraid, all the wajibat, the sunnah and all these things, once all these faradain and the individual responsibilities are fulfilled, then the easiest way to gain the closeness of Allah Azza wa Jal is to now go out and benefit other people. Bring peace to a Muslim's heart. Or as our blessed teacher says, or they say in a very nice, simple sentence that whenever you come across anybody in life, regardless of who they are, Muslim or non-Muslim, doesn't matter. Whenever you come across somebody in life, ask yourself, how can I benefit them? That's it. If me and you can do this, get in the habit of doing this day in, day out, then inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you and honor you with closeness to Him. So always ask yourself, how can you benefit from the people? You see, they also go on to compare two things. If you can alleviate the pain of a Muslim, if you can take away the pain of a Muslim, maybe they're going through some financial crisis, some family problems, anything, whatever they're going on with, if you compare this particular act and spending itikaf for a month, not for 10 days, for a month in the masjid, this wins easily. This is far greater. Alleviating the pain of a Muslim is far greater than spending a month in the masjid in itikaf. These are the teachings of our blessed teacher. So if you want honor quick, if you want to be honored with the friendship of Allah Azza wa Jal, if you want to be honored with His mercy, if you want to be honored with His closeness, this is what me and you can do, because we don't have much time left. I mean, I'll give you an example. The fact that we were all born different days, the young and the old, I'm not looking at anyone in particular when I say old, but we're all here at different ages. Don't turn around, I'm not looking at anybody. The fact that we were all born when we were born, where we were born, this is a sign for me and you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to honor us, because me and you, all of us here, all the sisters online and the brothers online, everyone around here, the fact that you were born as an ummati of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this itself is a massive honor. This is a big honor. So you're already onto a good start. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showing me and you, He sent you here onto the face of the earth from the alim arwah when He did, because He wants to honor you. You're part of the ummah, the greatest of all the prophets. We're not from the ummah of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. We're not from the ummah of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. We're not from the ummah of Hazrat all the other prophets. The fact is we are born where we were born, when we were born. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showing me and you, He has honored us with this. This is an excellent start that we can all appreciate. You see, Hazrat Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab, they said that, again I'm going to paraphrase that, we were the most humiliated people on earth. And Allah Azza wa Jal gave us honor through Islam. But if we seek honor through anything else, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will humiliate us. So these were the wise words of Hazrat Umar ibn Khattab radhiyallahu anhu. They said this, they understood where honor came from, al-aziz. So if we try to chase honor through the worldly gain, through being famous and having money and dunya, you're only going to be humiliated. So give up, just stop it. It's not going to work. The fact that the brothers and sisters are here today in this gathering on a night, like Ustadh Hisham said, on a night people are out partying, fireworks and these things and doing all sorts of bad things. The fact that you and I are here, who's the one being honoured? It's not him. It's not His Majesty, no. You see, as many of the previous Ustadh Shamsher and other people here, you all know that when we start the Zikr Majlis coming up next, in the Zikr Majlis, what's going to happen? The Malaika are going to join us. They are going to honour us with their presence. This is fact. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that when there's a gathering of His remembrance, when there's a gathering of His remembrance, all the sins are forgiven of the attendees. We're going to be honoured very shortly by the angels, inshallah. We're going to be honoured, not them, not His Majesty, no. Us. When a person goes out to seek knowledge, Islamic knowledge, for example, at the UK Academy of Islamic Sciences, when you go out to seek knowledge, who's going to be honoured? It's not the books you study, it's you. Because what happens when you go out to seek knowledge, such as this particular establishment, every step you take in the search of knowledge, every step you take to go out to seek knowledge, what happens? The angels open their wings, they lower their wings, so you can step on their wings. This is the honour given to the student of the deen. This is the honour. They don't benefit, we do. There are so many opportunities Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us to be honoured by Him. But perhaps sometimes me and you, we forget. I know I do. You see, people say, oh, I wish I was born at a time with the companions. I wish, well, it didn't happen. It didn't happen for a reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew when to send us here on earth. So just because we could not be around physically at the time of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's fine. It wasn't supposed to be. But He has not stopped me and you from being honoured, because we still have the Sunnah to follow. We have the Sunnah to give preference to. We have the Sharia to follow. And we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command to give preference to as well. You see, we have the privilege and the honour of our blessed teacher. We're the ones honoured. And even though they're in Denmark physically right now, we are still honoured. We are honoured to serve them. Because to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we serve His friends here on the face of the earth. It's through them we serve Allah Azza wa Jal. Very simply because people like me, the one who is less virtuous is at the service who is more virtuous. And these are the friends of Allah Azza wa Jal. So we're the ones being honoured by doing as they say, following their instructions. You see, never forget that some people are famous on the face of the earth. Some people are famous on earth, but they are unknown in the heavens. And then there are those people who are unknown in the earth, but famous in the heavens. And these are the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the awliya, the salihin, the siddiqeen, the shuhada. I'm going to finish soon. You see, like I said, this is not our new year. Our new year began. So just think of this rhetorical question from now on. You look at the lives of the awliya, you look at the lives of the pious and the righteous, the God-fearing people, the people of wisdom, the people of reflection. And you ask yourself, you look at them, you look at their lives, you look at how they live, and they are phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. The awliya of the past and the awliya of the present, absolutely phenomenal. All because of four things. They always give preference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. They always give preference to the sunnah. They are always in the presence of their Lord. And they are always compassionate towards creation. These are the four things that makes them phenomenal. Now you ask yourself, from here on, do you want to be phenomenal or do you want to be forgotten? Do you want to be phenomenal or forgotten? Because when we pray, in our prayers, in our du'as at the end, we include all of the phenomenal personalities, whether directly or indirectly, whether by name or not by name. For example, the likes of Hazrat Abdul Aziz Dabar, rahmatullah alayh, the likes of Hazrat Imam Ghazali, rahmatullah alayh, Ghaus Pak, Hazrat Abdul Qadir Jani, rahmatullah alayh. Whether we call them by name or we mention awliya, salihin, siddiqeen, shuhada, collectively, we still pray for them, we remember them, regardless of what year we're in now. Ask yourself, how many people pray for Pharaoh? He's forgotten. No one cares. How many people pray for Yazid and his armies? No one. They're forgotten. History forgets those. But we never forget the phenomenal personalities. Or because of those four things. And they are phenomenal forever. So to finish off, understand one thing. That if you want to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by giving preference to His command, you have to first submit to His messenger. You have to. And you cannot honour the messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by dishonouring his teachings. To dishonour his teachings is not to follow them. We have 7 years maximum, and I'm taking 7 years for the youngsters here. Like I said, me and you maybe have 2, 3, Allah Ta'ala knows best. We don't have much time. Me and you have to do one thing from here on. Yes, it's December 31st, 2021. Doesn't matter. Promise yourself this from now on, that you are going to make the opportunity of a lifetime. You have been given an opportunity of a lifetime, and you have to make the most of this opportunity. How? You have to make the lifetime of the opportunity. You'll be given a few years left. Don't waste time. So if I said anything that's benefited you, then all praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only the mistakes were mine. May Allah bless me and you all with the honour of His closeness, His mercy and His companionship. Ameen.
MashaAllah, we've heard the nasiyah. Now as they say, the ball is in our court. Opportunity for us to do something about that. And MashaAllah, most of you know about the course of self-purification known as Tareeqah Muhammadiyah. However, if you are new to this, or you want more information regarding what this course is about and how it can help you, then 10 to 15 minutes inshallah after the zikr, a brother will sit near the pillar and they will explain and go through what the methodology is and how you can get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. And a final announcement as well, I believe there is going to be healing session today as well. Not a session today, but a brother will be going through and helping people with any healing. So please give your name to Brother Sadiq, who is sitting on the chair at the back. So just put your hand up, inshallah. So give your name to him, and inshallah you can see the Ustadh regarding any healing. So inshallah we're going to do the Zikr Majlis. Can I just ask all the brothers to come, stand up, and then come a bit forward as well, please. You've left massive gaps, so do keep a bit social distance. I can hear a lot of coughing as well at the back somewhere. Come forward as well, please. So I think they might need some healing as well. Yeah, mashallah, there we go. Let's just come a bit forward, please. MashaAllah. So in your own time, when you feel ready, please take a seat. The lights are going to be turned off to help us concentrate, which is going to be myself. No, wrong ones. There you go. Just to remind you, get the 3 keys now, that Allah is with me, Allah is hearing me, and Allah is seeing me. And get that in that presence, get your mind tuned. It's only 20 minutes or so, just opportunity for us to connect with Allah Azza wa Jal. Jazakallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد سيد القونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. 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 الله 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 لا إلا الله محمد رسول الله. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة 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 هو الرحمن الرحيم 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 الرحمن 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 الرحيم 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 هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. 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 أنت 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 خير الرازقين. أنت خير الرازقين. أنت خير الرازقين. أنت خير الرازقين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. 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 أنت خير الرازقين. أنت خير الرازقين. أنت خير الرازقين. أنت خير الرازقين. أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو لا إله إلا هو لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو لا إله إلا هو لا إله إلا هو لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم سبحان ربي العلي الأعلى الوهاب الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وإليك يرجع السلام، تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا إنك جامع الناس ليوم لا ريب فيه إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد. اللهم إنا نسألك خير هذه الليلة، فتحها ونصرها ونورها وبركتها وهداها، ونعوذ بك من شر ما فيها وشر ما بعدها. اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولمشائخنا ولجميع أمة سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين برحمتك يا رب.